Hi guys, so we're going to do a grounding yin yoga practice today. So we're going to need a couple props. If you want to grab a blanket or a couple bath towels, a bolster, or maybe some pillows, and then also a yoga block, which can be replaced with books, thick books, just to bring the floor closer to support you. And you may also want to incorporate an essential oil here. So today I'm using Balance by doTERRA. It's a grounding blend. I'm going to take a couple drops on my wrist, rub them together. And it's deep inhales through the nose, through the nostrils, and drawing that fragrance up into the amygdala gland. So we're shifting the nervous system into rest and digest. Just slowing down. Take a few more rounds of breath here. Beautiful. So I'm going to set my timer here and we're going to do a little meditation for 7 minutes. So just taking a comfortable seat, placing the palms face down on the thighs, and now you can be seated up on a blanket or a bolster. To keep the hips elevated above the knees is going to create some more space and ease of tension in the knees. You can also be seated on a chair for this meditation. So wherever you are, just coming to that comfortable seat and starting out with 3 long rounds of breath, just drawing yourself into the moment, into your body, with an inhale through the nose and an exhale out. So if it feels comfortable for you, you can begin to close your eyes. Or if it feels of a more safe space to just take a gentle gaze at the floor in front of you, you can take that. But just starting to draw your energy inward. So we're going to begin with a little practice, calling upon parts of ourselves and asking them to join us here in the present moment. Now you can notice here I've taken a hand gesture or a mudra of concentration, and I invite you guys to take this along with me. So we're going to place the left hand under the right hand and bring the tips of the thumbs together. Now go ahead and nuzzle your hands into your lap. Let them be heavy and weighted here. And we'll begin to concentrate on our thoughts. So you're scanning your thoughts to see when they pull you into the past. So maybe things that you did this morning or yesterday or even 10 years ago. And noticing when they pull us into the future. So maybe anticipating an event that might be coming up or an experience that you're scared may happen or not happen. So just noticing. Noticing what draws you away from this present moment, and each time you recognize a specific thought that is pulling you into the past or anticipating the future, ask that part of yourself to join you here in the present moment, in your body, right now. This exercise definitely requires a level of awareness and concentration as we watch where we get pulled, where our mind goes when it leaves the moment. And I can distinctly remember here sitting in meditation as I was recording this video, being pulled into the future as I anticipated recording the meditation now with the voiceover. And I had to ask that part of myself to please come back, come sit here with me in the present moment. And maybe you notice each time you ask a part of yourself to come back and join you here, you feel a little bit more alive, a little bit more vitality, a little bit more presence. So keep it going. And if tension starts to build in the body, just come back to your breath. An easy inhale, a soft exhale can be all it takes to just let yourself go of any built up tension in the mind, in the body. Settling that and reminding yourself that what you're doing here is of service, the highest service to yourself. And we're going to start to let that practice go and bring our right hand to our low belly and then our left hand over our right. And taking a moment here to feel our seat. So whether you're seated in a chair or on the floor, just feeling where your feet make contact with the floor. And then feeling where the floor or your seat meets your sit bones. Now let yourself really be held by whatever is supporting you here. Really let go of your weight into your sit bones, through your legs, right into your feet. Now bringing your awareness into your low belly center. So we're feeling the lower abdomen of our body, right below the navel, where it wraps around the left hip. Feeling the low back and sacrum, and then where it wraps around the right hip. So feeling with your awareness the circumference of your low belly, and then drawing yourself inward to the centermost point. So this is known as the hara in Japanese culture, or the svadhisthana in yogic philosophy. It's the second chakra. So this is a place for us to rest and find alignment and mental clarity. So we're going to really feel this point in the body and take an inhale into it. So breathing low into the low belly, into the hands. And then on your exhale, let the belly come in towards the spine as you empty of all your air. Beautiful. And on this next round, we're going to inhale for a count of 2. Now on the exhale, you're going to say the word whisper and elongate the R sound. So that will be the exhale. It's going to sound like this. Inhaling. Whisper. And letting the breath completely out. So you guys try it. We're going to inhale for a count of 2 through the nose. Hold the breath in for a moment. And then exhale, say the word whisper and elongate the R sound for a count of 4 if you can. Good. Maybe on this next one, as you say the word whisper on the exhale and elongate the R sound, close the mouth halfway through and release the rest of the exhale out the nostrils, keeping that constriction of the back of the throat and listening to that oceanic breath. So this is your Ujjayi breathing. Try it one more round. Amazing work, guys. You can go ahead and release the hands and turn them palms face up on the thighs. You can continue working with your Ujjayi breath in through the nose and out, or take a few natural rounds of breath here. Good. Go ahead and start to blink your eyes open, gazing about the room. Bring yourself back gently. And then we'll meet in a tabletop position in time, so you don't have to rush. But when you're ready, coming into tabletop. Now we may be using our blanket or bath towels for this position. We're going to open the knees mat width, a little wider than hips distance. And you can take that blanket or bath towel and place it right behind the knees, the knee creases, if we have any knee injuries or knee discomforts or pain. And then when you sit your seat back to your heels, you'll feel a lot more support here. You can also take that blanket under your knees if you wish for more cushioning. And you can see here that you can use your props to support your head if you want to, in a more neutral child's pose. We're going to be taking a twist here in the child's pose. You can see that I placed my blanket at the hip crease. So if you feel bone on bone grind here, any pain, you may want to place the blanket there as well. Now I'm positioning my blanket, which you can use a pillow here for, or your bolster, up at the top of my mat. So it's going to catch the side of my head when I come into the twist. So I'm going to walk my hands over that right thigh. I'm going to send my left arm under the right armpit and bring my body into this gentle twist, really sending that left hand far away from me. And then draping my right hand or right arm in front of me. Just allowing this soft twist to happen on its own, not forcing it too much. So the first step in yin yoga is finding your edge. So that's that place that is between pain or really overwhelming discomfort and restorative, passive, no sensation at all. So we don't want to be in a place of no sensation, and we don't want to be in a place of pain or overwhelming sensation that we can't stay for minutes at a time or breathe here. So finding that place, your edge, right in the center. So there's a place where we feel tugging, we feel stress on the tissue, we feel stimulation of the energy lines, but we can stay here. So the second step in coming into a yin yoga pose is the breath. And then the third step is holding for minutes at a time in complete stillness, avoiding the fidget. Now you can see here that I've deepened the twist by bringing my right arm back and around. So you can bring the back of the hand to the low back, or you can even hold onto the top of your pants with your hand to keep the hand there in the twist if it doesn't quite make it to the top of the left thigh or hip crease. All right, now if this brings overwhelming pain, stabbing, electrifying, or numbing to the shoulder, you know that you've gone too far, and just lessen, maybe just bring your hand a little closer to your low back and bring your right shoulder a little closer to the floor. So finding that edge here if you choose to go a little deeper. So we've come into the pose, we've found our edge, and now we're going to incorporate the breath. So using that same inhale into the low belly, expanding low belly center, and then feeling the air climbing up in towards the chest and allowing it to stop there at the heart. Hold the breath in for a moment in the chest, and then exhale, feel the air moving down as you release all of it, drawing navel center towards the spine. So we can use length, which we've already played with by extending the breath to 2 or 4 counts at a time. But we can also add a component of depth to our breath. So as we inhale down into the low belly, the diaphragm moves down and massages the internal digestive organs in this twist, which is really nice. And then we feel this opening in the chest as we continue to inhale and expand through the heart. Holding the breath in at the top, at the chest, at the collarbones. And then exhale, release the air from the chest. Feel your body dropping down towards the floor as the rib cage moves in, diaphragm comes up, and the navel center moves towards the spine. So really engaging with your breath here. Try that on your own, feeling the air as it moves down and then up on the inhale. And then on the exhale, we feel that down motion of the chest, but that up motion of the navel center and the diaphragm. So just playing with that, experiencing that here. Remember, if the mind starts to pull us away into moments of the past or anticipating moments of the future, just call yourself back to the breath and come back to that experience of a full inhale and an elongated exhale. Good. Now, if you had that twist, you can gently start to release the top arm, the right arm, back to the floor nice and slow. It might be a little achy, but that's normal. And you'll press down into the right hand. Inhale the left hand out from under you. Place both hands on the floor and walk it back, coming to sit for a moment. Good. You can move props out of your way and we'll come into a tabletop position. And stepping the right foot back, plugging the toes, ball the foot into the mat and kicking through the heel. Just lengthening the back of the leg, releasing the back of the knee. You could do that on the other side, sending the left foot back in space. You may even want to hold plank pose here. Just releasing both knees at the same time. If that's not in your practice, no worries. Just sending one leg back and then the other. Good, and then we'll meet in a neutral position, tabletop. And then sitting the seat back towards the heels, opening the knees a little wider than hips distance. Setting up your blanket or bolster to catch the side of your head for this twist. And then we'll walk the hands over to the left side. So we're going to walk the hands over to the left, frame that left thigh. Good, and then thread the right arm under the left. Send it far away from you for the twist. And place that left hand in front of the face. You can even use it as an anchor to come into the twist a little deeper to find your edge. And then settle that left arm, settle the left hand. With an exhale, nuzzling yourself into this posture. Making this posture home. So we've found our edge, but now holding in stillness and following the breath. We have that same breath to practice on this side, so using our Ujjayi breathing that we were working with. And just like at the beginning of class, you can incorporate the word whisper if that helped anchor you in the practice and the experience of this breath. So using the word whisper on the exhale and elongating the R sound. But if you want to, you can inhale for a count of 2. Now you may feel constricted here. We're in a twist, so it's okay if things feel tight or tense. Just breathing ease into that. So inhaling, we'll notice the belly, low belly expand as we draw the breath down. The diaphragm moves down, massages the internal organs. Then we feel that inhale lift up into the chest, a little tightness in the chest, and we hold the breath there. And then on our exhale, we feel the chest start to lower as the diaphragm moves up and the navel center moves in and up towards the spine. So playing with that depth of your breath and really trying to stay with it, focusing here. You guys are doing such great work. So Yin Yoga is very interesting in the way that the work is in the mind training. So even though our bodies are still, there is a lot of activity going on in our minds as we focus and in the breath and the energy as it moves. So if any sense of irritability or agitation arrives, just breathing love into it and hosting that feeling and understanding that it's completely normal as we experience the entirety of this practice. Now, if you'd like to take that top arm, the left arm, up, back, and around to deepen the twist like we did on the other side, of course you can. You can bring the back of the left hand to the low back and rest it there. Or you have a better visual here. I'm holding onto the top of my pants to secure the arm down in the twist if it doesn't quite make it to the hip crease or top of the thigh. So the yin yoga practice, coupled with meditations and, Buddhist mindfulness practices, all of these exercises can be seen as ways to cleanse the mind or purify the mind. In yogic philosophy, we have a word called saucha. So saucha literally means purity in Sanskrit. So being pure with ourselves means we are not afraid of our own thoughts or our own feelings. And we don't have to hide anything from ourselves. Deborah Adele quotes Matthew Sanford in her book Yamas and Niyamas. He speaks from the experience of an accident that left him paralyzed from the waist down. And he said, "I am not afraid of my sadness. My sadness is an incredible gift that allows me to be with people who are suffering without trying to fix them." Matthew invites us to simply and fearlessly be with all the pieces of ourselves. And it is here in the yin yoga practice, in this very meditative, grounding practice of stillness, that we get to host and experience different waves of thought and emotion and feelings and accept them and watch them and embrace them without manipulation, without control, or without trying to change them. That's where the purity of the practice comes, allowing things to be as they are. And with that, we'll inhale into a tabletop. Take your time. And we'll do that same stepping back motion of one foot and then the other. You can see here that I'm holding in plank pose. If you want to hold in plank pose, you can shift back into a down dog if that feels comfortable. A really gentle down dog with soft knees and pedaling out the feet, one heel down and then the other. Anything that feels right to release the backs of the knees here. And then we'll meet back in our tabletop position, and we're going to set up for pigeon on the left side. So bringing that left knee on the outside of the left wrist. You can keep that left heel under the left sit bone if that provides some more comfort and room here to come into the pose, and maybe lowering hands on a bolster or the floor. Good, as you can see here. Or you can bring that left foot out from under you, bring it right in front of the top of the right hip, coming into pigeon pose or swan in yin yoga. And you may want to grab your bath towel or your blanket and bring it under the pelvis, right under that left sit bone, just to support the bones if they're not quite touching the floor. You can also do this with a pillow or a bolster. Now, if you're like, no way, this pose is not happening for me, you're going to bring that right knee in line with the right hip, bring it forward, in line with the right hip, and then extending that right heel away from the body is going to deepen this pose. Now, this is called deer pose, so trying to find a right angle or larger at the back of the right knee. You can even find a right ankle at the back of the left knee, or you can keep the foot in towards the body. And you can see here I'm using my block and my bolster as support. So setting yourself up accordingly to be in this pose. Remember, we're not looking for restorative. We're not looking to avoid any sensation. We're trying to move towards a place that is uncomfortable, but bearable. Somewhere we can stay and breathe and hold for minutes at a time. We're going to be doing about 4 minutes on this side. We did about 5 minutes for each child's pose. So that helps you give a gauge of time here. So to continue our conversation of saucha, or purity, what we're aiming for is to show up in the present moment as our whole selves. so we can show up pure, as in not wanting to change or alter the present moment or other people, but allowing things to be as they are. So we often enter into an experience with cluttered or scattered thoughts and then leave the experience with even more cluttered thoughts. I'm sure we can all relate to that. And this is because we have not taken the time to catch up with ourselves. We are living on the leftovers of where we have been or the preparations of where we are going. So one way to anchor ourselves even more so in the present moment is to drop into the awareness and intelligence of the body. So we often operate with an awareness of the intelligence of the mind, especially in today's day. So by using breathing techniques and other mindful practices of feeling sensation in the body, then we can become more aware of it and tap into the body's intelligence. So we're going to work on scanning the body's sensations here in this pose. So let's play here and drop yourself into your body, scanning the body for sensations. And let's first find a part of the body that feels uncomfortable here. So sending your awareness to a spot in the body that is uncomfortable or weary in this pose, and host that sensation. Really lean into it, feel it, breathe into it. Some of us that have been practicing for a while, you may actually find a weird kind of pleasure in the parts of your body that are uncomfortable because you know the benefits that you're going to be gaining from this opening. And some of us that are new to the practice may associate stories with certain uncomfortable feelings that we are receiving from the body. It's totally normal if it brings up fear or a lack of confidence, unsure of what will happen if you stay here. But remember, if it's not pain, so stabbing, burning, if it's not a numbing sensation, if it's not electrifying, it's safe, it's okay. If it's just a tugging, a pulling, stress on the tissue, uncomfortable or achy even, that's normal and it's okay. You can stay here and breathe into it. And we're trying to open ourselves up to accepting this uncomfortable sensation that we're receiving. So breathing into that for a moment, the uncomfortable parts. Next, we'll scan the body for places that are neutral in sensation. So this could be a pointer finger, a big toe, maybe your nose, and just dropping all your awareness into parts of the body that are neutral in nature. Beautiful, and we'll slowly start to inhale our way out of this pose. Bring the hands under the shoulders, pressing your way up, maneuvering your legs back into a tabletop, shifting any props out of your way. So just take some cat-cows or some hip circles, dropping the seat to the heels in a big circular motion in one direction and then the other. Really any movement that you feel called to do at this time. It's good to have these moments of movement, of more yang energy and action in between these periods of stillness to keep any stagnant or stale energy moving in or out the body. So we'll go ahead and slide the right knee this time to the outside of the right wrist. And remember, you can keep that heel under your seat for support, or you can bring your right foot in front of the left hip point and snuggle a bolster or blanket or bath towels under your right sit bone for support. Take some pillows or a bolster under your chest as you lower down. And remember to take your time to set up that this side may be different than the left side. It may need a different amount of attention or care. So maybe you take the modification if you need, sliding that left knee forward in line with the left hip, creating a right angle at the back of the left knee for a deer pose, if that would better serve you. So wherever you've landed, just finding stillness, embracing that quiet time, this moment to stop all activity and draw your energy deeper and deeper within. So we'll continue our mindfulness practice. So we have brought our awareness to places in the body of more uncomfortable sensation. We've felt neutral sensation. And now we're going to scan the body for pleasurable sensation. So sending your awareness into your tissue, into your body, and just locating places of sensation that you like, that are very happy and fortunate to be here in this pose. Beautiful. So now we've experienced scanning the body for pleasure, for uncomfortable sensations, and for neutral sensations. And now at this time, just bouncing around the body. So bouncing from one sensation to the next and not staying with anyone too long, but giving all of your attention to them fully. So that's what Saucha or purity embodies. It embodies this slow steadiness and integrity necessary to give all of your attention to one thing at a time. So as we practice slowing down and giving each thing our undivided attention, we will find ourselves more integrated and more pure with the moment. So we're trying to avoid hurrying, multitasking, that busyness, which are unfortunately symbols of success in our culture. But these symbols really kill purity and kill this feeling of fullness in life lived and a richness of being present. So at this time, just bouncing your awareness around sensations in your body and staying really fully present with each one. And when in doubt, if the mind takes you away, come back to the experience of your breathing. And with that, we'll take an inhale to bring ourselves gently out of this posture, pressing into the hands, sending both knees back into a tabletop position. And we'll take some cat-cows, wrists under shoulders, fingers spread, gripping into the mat, anchoring the knuckles and tops of the feet. We'll inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the spine. Good, tuck the tailbone. Inhale slowly, maybe you tuck the toes under as we drop the belly. And then exhale, untuck the toes, guide the collarbones to your hip pointers. A nice slow cat-cow, but you can really move it any way that you want to here. So again, we're just keeping the energy moving in and out. So if you want to rock back and forth, take hip circles, find a down dog, whatever will best serve you. You may even want to come to sit in stillness and just look around and feel and notice if anything has shifted for you between these postures. So we're going to transition into a supported bridge pose, making your way onto your seat with feet hips distance apart at the top of your mat, flat on the floor, knees bent. Make sure your bolster or pillows are close by for use. And then we'll extend the arms in front of us, palms face down, and slowly roll ourselves down using our core to lower us one vertebrae at a time. Make contact with the back body to the mat. Make sure the feet are flat on the floor. And then pressing through the heels, we'll tuck the tailbone under, lift the pelvis up, and thread a pillow or two or our bolster under the sacrum, the low back, feeling nice and supported here. Good. So getting the hips elevated in this way creates some more space and breathing room for the digestive tract and the colon, which is good and healthy for the body. And energetically, this pose is a grounding posture. So take your time setting yourself up, making sure your low back is nice and supported. And if it's comfortable, placing your hands on your low belly here. So taking a body scan here, letting go at the back of the head into the mat. Feeling your forehead, releasing any tension between the brows, maybe lifting them up and away and then resting them back down softly. You may want to rest the inner corners of the eyes, the backs of the eye sockets. And then turn your internal gaze in and up at the third eye point. Softening through cheekbones, through the nose, the jaw. Letting the jaw unhinge and hang open, letting the tongue be loose here. Bring your awareness down into the throat, feeling the back of the neck, noticing if it's scrunched here. And allow it to be long and lengthening. So if you need to, you can lift your head up, bring your chin to your chest to create that length at the back of the neck, and then gently place the base of the skull or the nape of the neck right on the floor or your mat. To create even more room for the neck, let's bring the shoulders away from the ears, and we're just going to snuggle the shoulder blades together under us, as a support, as a pedestal for the heart to rest on. Feel your chest and your collarbone spread and open to receive. And you can go ahead and take an inhale into the hands, expanding low belly center. And on the exhale, settling any tension here in the abdominals. Another inhale. And then exhale, release the hands heavy, backs of the hands come to the floor, extending through the arms, and then bringing the pointer to meet the tip of the thumb, extending the other three fingers, palms face up towards the sky for a mudra or hand gesture of receiving. Feeling the bolster or pillows where they come up to meet your low back, and releasing your weight a little heavier into that support. Feeling this sensation of grounding and weight travel into the legs, through the knees, down the shins, into the ankles. And we'll bring our awareness to the bottom of the left foot, feeling where the floor comes up to meet the left foot, the big toe side, the pinky edge, the left edge of the heel and the right edge of the heel, evenly distributing the weights. And then we'll feel where the floor comes up to meet the right foot, the big toe side, the pinky edge, the left edge of the heel, and the right edge of the heel, equally distributing the weight. If it feels right for your body, you can slide your right heel straight out to the bottom right corner of your mat, extending your right leg and letting the right foot fall heavy out to the side. And then you can kick through the left heel, slowly slide the left foot to the bottom left corner of your mat, lengthening the leg and letting the left foot fall heavy out to the side. Having the leg straight here, if it feels safe for your body. Otherwise, you can stay with feet anchored flat on the floor, knees bent. So branching off from saucha, or purity, is santosha, another Sanskrit word and yogic term which means contentment. Santosha invites us into contentment by taking refuge in a calm center, opening our hearts in gratitude for what we do have, and practicing the paradox of non-seeking. So seeking and avoiding are expensive uses of our energy. Observing, however, can bring a sense of lightness and vitality. So connecting to that part of you that witnessed the different sensations of neutral, pleasurable, and uncomfortable. That part of you that was witnessing it all is your calm center of refuge to find contentment. And with that, we'll take an inhale, maybe bending one knee at a time. Bring your feet back to the floor if they were straight. And when you're ready, pressing into the heels, tuck the tailbone under, lift the hips up so you can move the bolster or pillows out from under you and come back to lay on your back. So we're going to keep the right foot on the floor, right knee bent, and bring the left knee into the chest, interlacing the fingers around that left shin. You may want to extend that right leg long and really kick through the right heel. So if the right heel makes contact with the floor, you could stay here and guide the back of the right thigh bone down towards the mat. Press into the right heel and flex the right toes for the face, and then bring that left knee closer to you, just to fully extend into this posture. And then once you feel you've found your edge, release any of that tension and muscle engagement and soften yourself into this pose, Apanasana, which is a pose of release. So it is not easy to stay contented in this modern day culture with all of its stimulation, technology, and fast-paced nature. We are more so encouraged to leave ourselves and take from the outside world than we are to dive within ourselves and find wholeness there. So how do we find contentment nowadays? And one beautiful way to experience santosha, and I think it's the simplest path to take, is through gratitude. Experiencing and engaging in gratitude. Practicing gratitude protects us from our own pettiness and smallness and keeps us centered in the joy and abundance of our own life. When stimulation pulls at us and disturbance beckons us, It is the gratitude uttered from our lips that keeps us strongly rooted in contentment. So for the rest of our practice today, finishing up this pose on this side and then taking it on the other side, we're going to focus on gratitude. Letting your mind wander about all the things that you receive on a daily basis in your life that you can be grateful for. Just making a list, bouncing from one thing and then the other. And we'll release that left foot to the mat. Left knee is bent as we basket the hands around the right shin, drawing the right knee up. So you can see here that I'm placing the right forearm at the back of the knee crease, if that helps, if the knee's not quite making it as high up into the chest for the hands to hold. That's another way to have your knee here. And allowing that thigh to roll on the outside of the rib cage. If you'd like to, you can extend that left leg long, really pressing the left heel into the floor. Guide the back of the left thigh down towards the mat and flex the left toes for the face. As you reach that right knee up higher into the chest, you kick long through the left leg, feeling the legs moving in opposite directions. And then once you've found your edge, softening into the pose, letting go of the muscles, and releasing into your back body, feeling where the back body meets the ground. So continuing this practice of gratitude on this side before we come into Shavasana. So this is our last pose of the practice. You've done a lot of hard work. You should be really proud of yourself. So coming back to that state of gratitude and allowing yourself to list the things that you receive in your daily life. We may extend that further to feeling a sense of gratitude for the air around us, the oxygen that our body bathes in each day, that we get to breathe fresh air into our lungs. We may extend gratitude for the shelter that is around us, that keeps us safe through storms and other disturbances. We may extend our gratitude to any sounds we're hearing around us, that those vibrations made their way to us and our eardrums received them so that we can hear. Being grateful for all of the senses, that we can receive the beauty of this world around us. We can receive the sight of a blue sky, sun on our face, the sounds of our loved ones calling our name. We can receive music, the soft sounds of birds singing outside our window. We can receive the tastes of our favorite meal and the beautiful feeling when you quench your thirst and you drink a tall glass of water. And with that, we will let the right leg extend down long, setting up for Shavasana, our final resting pose. If you have any low back discomforts, you can take pillow or bolsters behind the backs of the knees. Finding a comfortable position to extend your limbs out long, away from your body's center, and making sure the spine is lengthening. Focusing especially at the back of the neck. If there's that scrunching there, just lifting your head up to lengthen the back of the neck and then gently placing the back of the head back down. We'll let the feet flop out to the sides heavy and anchor the backs of the hands to the floor, palms face up for receiving. And we can deepen this gesture for receiving this openness in the body, creating more of that feeling by bringing the tip of the pointer to meet the tip of the thumb for Yana Mudra. Beautiful. And now feeling grateful for gravity's embrace, for it pulling you ever closer, holding you, anchoring you down into this present moment. And starting to feel where the floor comes up to meet your body, your entire back body. And imagining that that surface were the surface of a calm river. Feel yourself floating on the surface of the waters, completely still, and allowing the current to take you along. Trusting these waters, trusting the flow to have you, to take you, and embracing each thought, emotion, experience, or feeling that arises. Just going with the flow, floating with the current, allowing yourself to drift. Enjoy this time of letting yourself wander and drift away. And don't worry, you can let yourself go. I'll bring you back with the sound of my voice when it's time. Bringing yourself gently back to the sensations of your body with a few rounds of breath in through the nose and out. You may want to play with inhaling the palms open, spreading the fingers, and exhale, closing the fingers into a fist. Inhale, stretching the limbs, maybe bringing arms overhead. And exhale, drawing the knees in towards the chest. Eventually, we'll meet curled up in fetal position on our right side, holding for a moment like a tiny seed ready to be birthed into the world anew. And we'll place the weight into the hands and press ourselves up to sit. Just as we started, easy seat, maybe with hips up on a blanket or a bolster. And we'll close our practice with a mudra, interlacing the four fingers, pointing the thumbs up towards the sky and resting the palms over the heart space. You can take a gentle tilt of the chin in towards the chest as an honoring of this hand gesture, which is a mudra of unshakable trust. Unshakable trust. And the longer we sit here with this mudra, the more secure we feel, as these hand gestures have an effect on the chemistry of our brain states. So ushering us into a state of being that is open to receive, that trusts all that is happening, and is unafraid to be present in each moment. I'll leave you guys with a prayer from Prayers of Honoring by Pixie Lighthorse. This prayer is called Honoring Divine Presence in All Things. Thank you for this bright day. Thank you for putting out the call to come home to you. Help us sing your songs of love and devotion to our understanding of you loud and clear. Help us write those that live inside of us, remaining unspoken and unsung. Remind us that they are there because you are there. Let these illuminated occurrences, these brief seeings and believings, be a map to our self-knowledge and self-trust, as well as reflective of our faith in your magic. Show us everything that is beautiful, and also help us to appreciate that which is furthest from beautiful, for the lessons that accompany it. Let nothing be lost on us. Make us your sensitive trackers, seeking truth and finding it tucked away in the unexpected. Let us channel your pure energy so that we can feel you in everything. Show us how to bring it in as often as possible, providing us with reserves for staying fueled for human tasks. Remind us that time spent with you is what recharges us best. Draw sacred hearts on our souls, leaving us with no question about our lovability and value. Show us that you are here in every lily, lake, and lover. Help us recognize your unconditional love. We promise to let it ripple out far beyond us once we connect with it. Lead us into a practice of valuing our serenity above all else, so that we may learn the true meaning of conserving what is precious. Help us to agree on what that is. Teach us how to walk through the world consuming less and caring more about the spirit that lives in everything. Show us how to take time in stillness, recharge, and not deplete ourselves nor others' energy. Lead us into a practice of valuing peace, honoring divine presence in all things. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me, and namaste.